Hello, my name is Tene Taylor, and I'm coming to you today to present to you the foundation of roller design. Now, in this foundation, we're going to cover all of the laws of roller design. Roller designing is back, roller designing is big, roller designing is very popular. Our problem that we have today is we don't have the proper foundation. So in this series today, we're going to lay a ground rule for the foundation along with the laws of roller work. We're going to show you a couple of very hot and popular styles that should take you and take your earnings and take your styles to a whole nother level. So let's proceed unto roller foundation. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move into the laws of roller placement, which means the actual application of roller control. Now, key things to remember. Always remember first, the roller base is the size or the diameter of the roller to be used. So if my roller is large, this diameter, my base should be at least that diameter. Anytime you do a base smaller than the diameter of the roller, you're overworking yourself and you don't allow for the movement of the roller design. So now we're going to place a roller, the base, the diameter of the roller, the width and the length should all match. You can see there's the length that matches, there's the width. First placement is going to be one base size, which means, as you know, one base size. So with this being one base size, we're going to do an unbased roller. If it's an unbased roller for a one base size, you must over direct the hair at a 90-degree angle, rolling the roller down, and the roller comes right on base, and you clip with the forces. That's how you do an unbased roller. Now, first, let's go back and talk about the angle in which we project the hair. Again, unbased roller, one base size. To project the hair means here is 90 degrees. Here is over directed 45 degrees. Here is under directed at a 45 degrees towards me. So we have 90, 45 away, 45 towards me. So in order for this to be an unbased roller, you cannot hold the hair at 90 degrees because then the roller sits half off of its base. Again, unbased, you cannot hold the hair and comb the hair at 90 degrees for unbased roller because then the roller comes half off. So that's been a mistake. So what you have to do, comb the hair at a 45-degree angle past center of its base. You take the roller, roll it down, then the roller sits directly on its base, and you can see how the roller sits. It sits directly on its base. One last time, one base, unbased means that you have to comb the hair at a 45-degree angle beyond perpendicular or beyond 90 degrees. If I comb it here, that's 90 degrees. Comb it over directed, 45-degree angle, place the roller in the hair, and then the roller sits at 90 degrees, or a roller sits unbased, combed at 90 degrees. Last thing is clipping. Always clip at the back part of the base, which allows the roller to be firm. Most of your rollers are too loose because you're not clipping at the proper base. If to get a close-up here, I'm going to show you what I mean by clipping. A close-up here means that if this is the base here, you can see the base being right here. This clip should not sit way up here on the roller. The clip should sit way back here at the back of the base by the part to hold the roller tight. Otherwise, your roller moves. So therefore, when I go to apply this roller, we will then take, place, roll it down. This is the back part of its base, and the clip goes right along the back part of its base to keep the roller firm. That is unbased rollers. Unbased, one base size rollers for volume rolling. Next, we're going to move to over direction. Over direction. What is over direction? An over directed roller is a roller that gives you maximum volume. Well, Tene, you didn't tell me what unbased roller gives me. Unbased roller gives you perfect volume. That means the stem is coming straight up from the hair. For example, if this is a 1 base size roller, and I come here, unbased means that that hair is giving you perfect volume. The roller sits unbased, like this right here. And when it sits unbased, that stem is going straight up from its base. That's perfect volume. Over direction means that the roller gives you maximum volume, which means it goes this way first and then comes back that way. That's maximum volume. All right, so here we go. The next one is an over-directed roller. All over-directed rollers must have room to move within the base. So the base has to be at least 1 1/2 diameters times the diameter of the roller. The base cannot be 1 base size. It has to be at least 1 1/2. So there is 1 base size here, showing you right here. There is 1 base size right there. Another half of that goes all the way back here, so that the base of this particular roller is this large, from the hairline to back there. That seems to be a lot of hair, Tene. It is, but it is workable, and it will work with the proper roller control. So now, over-directed roller, 1 1/2 base. You comb it at a 45-degree angle beyond the center of its base. You roll it down, and the roller will sit in the front part of its base. As you can see, that's where that roller is sitting, in the front part of its base. That gives you an over-directed roller. Again, I will do the second one for you. The second one, I will do it over so that you can see it better. And I'm going to start back here, and my head is tilted, so let me stand it up so I can get a good true read of this. I'm going to start this one back here where you can see a little bit better from the side angle. Over-directed roller, the roller must sit 1 1/2 times the base. So there's the base size. And you comb the hair at a 45-degree angle away from you, or over-directed, putting the roller in, combing it, rolling it down. You see that roller sits in the front part of the base, which means the hair goes forward for maximum volume and then comes backward. It goes forward and then comes backward. Forward and then backwards. That is what is known as an over-directed roller. First one was an unbased. This one was over-directed. Unbased is combed at a 45 beyond or over-directed. A over-directed roller is also combed at 45-degree beyond or over-directed, and it gives you what is known as maximum volume. Okay? The next one we're going to show you is going to be an under-directed roller. All right, so now the very next one that we're getting ready to move to is an under-directed roller. We just did a unbased roller. We did an over-directed roller. The unbased gives you perfect volume. The over-directed gives you maximum volume. Now we're getting ready to do an under-directed roller. Remember, both over-directed and under-directed rollers must sit within the confinements of its base. What do you mean by that, Mr. Taylor? Well, if it is 1 base size, the roller has no place to move and stay within the confinements of its base. That confinements is this part and that part. If it is 1 1/2 base size, meaning 1 plus another half, the roller now has the room to move within the base. It can sit way up there in the part of the base. You see it's within here and has all that back there. Or it can sit in the back part of its base and have all that in front. So it sits within the confinements of that base and has room to move either way. So now, unbased, over-directed. Now we're going to do an under-directed roller. Under-directed roller, you comb straight up at 90 degrees. Straight up at 90 degrees. You then apply the roller, and the roller comes and sits in the back portion of its base. And as you can see, this roller right here, sitting in the back portion of its base, which means the stem is going back this way. The stem is going back this way. I made a statement for all three rollers about stem. The key to any roller design is always stem direction, where the hair leaves the scalp. This hair is leaving going this way, that means it goes back. If the hair leaves going that way, that means it goes forward. If it comes straight up, it's perfect volume. Stem direction is the key to your hairstyles. All right, so now let's again place an under-directed roller. The under-directed roller, the law is it's combed straight out at 90 degrees. You apply your roller, and after you apply your roller, it comes down and it sits in the back part of its base. That's an under-directed roller. That gives you diminished volume. That means less volume. Okay, the maximum amount of volume is over-directed. The next order would be unbased, followed by under-directed. Okay, again, over-directed, 1.5 base, unbased, 1 base, under-directed, 1.5 base right here. The next law that you would follow that with would be a half-off base roller, which is a 1 base, half-off base. So we go in here, you get your 1 base size. You want it to be half-off base. This hair is combed up at 90 degrees. Combed up at 90 degrees. You roll it down, and the roller sits half off of its base. Here's its base right here. The confinement ends right there. It sits half off of the base and half on the base. That is known as a half-off base roller. So we apply it, we roll it down, and there you go. That's a half-off base roller. Again, clipping at the back part of the base is very important so the roller stays firm, so the roller doesn't move. Again, I will apply a second one. Under-directed roller. Base size, there's 1, and it's under-directed, so I have to have another half. So that means it's got to go back there. We again going to apply it. Come in here. And you see the base size, that's 1.5. Do not get alarmed by the base size. Again, combing it 90 degrees, rolling it down, and the roller sits half off of its base. That's where the base is. Roller sitting half off here and half on. That's an under-directed roller. You can see the stem going this way and that stem going that way. That's an under-directed roller. And then the last roller for straight volume will be the roller that is called off base. Off base simply means that the roller sits completely off of its base and it gives you the least amount of volume that you want. Now, off base can be 1 base size, it can be 1.5 base size, it can be even larger. So here we go with 1 base, off base roller. Off base roller means you comb it at a 45-degree angle towards you. You roll it down, and the roller sits off of its base. There's confinement of the base. The roller sits all the way off of its base. That is, and again, clipping, you have to go way back up there and catch the last part of that base, and that's where the roller sits. Again, I'll do one more off base roller. 1 base size. And the hair is combed at a 45-degree angle below center of its base. Apply the roller, and there it is, an off-base roller. All right, that was the placements for straight volume roller designing. That was the entire placement for straight volume roller designing. So now, I just showed you all of your placements for your straight volume roller design. Now I'm going to show you the order in which normally they would go. Whatever you start with, if it's over-directed or unbased, but we're going to start with over-direction first for maximum volume. You got 1 1/2 times over-directed roller, combed at a 45-degree angle past perpendicular. The roller comes down and it sits in the front portion of its base. The next roller we would follow an over-directed roller by would be volume, because volume rollers. which would be an unbased roller, which is one base size, unbased. Here we go. One base size, unbased, combed at another 45-degree angle. And there we go. The next roller behind that would be 1.5 under-directed. There's one base size and another half under-directed, combed at a 90-degree angle for under-directed at a 1.5 base size. Remember, the base sizes are very important. 1.5 under-directed. Your next one will be one base, half off. Half off means that it's combed right at a 90-degree angle. The hair is combed at a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle. That's half off. You can see half of the rollers on, half of the rollers off. And the last one will be completely off base rollers, and that will be one base size, half off, which is combed at a 45-degree angle below the center of its base, or perpendicular. Keep in mind you're on a curved surface, so your angles will change, and that's completely off base. And that is all of your roller placement for your straight volume. Okay, here we go. What is this here? This is over-directed, 1.5 over-directed. What is this? One base, unbased. What is this? 1 1/2 under-directed. One base, half off. One base, off base. So the volume follows suit in designing. It comes this way first, then it comes straight up in this roller. Then it gets closer as it goes back down this way and gets closer and diminishes to follow the contour or the shape of the head. That's straight volume roller design. That was the laws. Let me show you the indentation placement first, because indentation is also done out of a straight volume form most of the time. And in today's styles, it's very important to understand the indentation concept. What is indentation? Indentation gives you a spatial and hollow effect, which means a flip. A flip. This is flat, the stem is flat, and it gives you a flip. But you can't just place indentation any kind of way. The key to an indentation roller in the concept of a flip is indentation always has to have more than one base size. It can be 1, 1.5. It can be 2, 1. It can be 2 base sizes, but it's always more than one base size. So here we go with 1, 1/2 base size. We're going to come in here, and to make an indentation roller, it's just the opposite of volume. You comb it flat, keeping it flat. Do not raise it up. Keep it flat. And you then put your roller in, and you roll the roller upwards. You see, that's how the indentation roller is placed. And the reason that it is 1.5 times in styling behind a volume roller is to give this roller room to unfold and then go into that. Because if it was way up here as a one base size, this roller would come and go right over the indentation so you wouldn't see it. But by it being 1 1/2 base behind a volume roller, it will unfold and go into that movement. Again, indentation roller is at least 1 1/2 size, the base. There's one, there's another half. 1 1/2 size of base. Keep the hair flat. Do not hold the hair up when you go to do an indentation roller, because watch what happens when you do that. If I hold the hair up and then try to do indentation, holding that hair up, watch this roller. You see where the roller sits. That's not right. That's wrong. You see it sits up in the front part of its base. That's incorrect. We have to keep the hair flat. Keeping it flat. And then we come in, rolling, keeping the stem flat, rolling it up, and then this place. That's all it is to an indentation roller. In our styles today, you're going to see a lot of indentation roller movement in certain places to project or to make the hair stand out. So I wanted to make sure you understood volume and then indentation. Again, indentation has to be at least 1 1/2 base size. So at this point, we are now ready to move into our curvature roller designing. So we're getting ready and set up for curvature rolling designing. Okay, curvature designs. A lot of times people think that it is really difficult to do curvature roller designs. It's not. There's just certain laws you have to remember. The first thing you want to always do is mold the hair in the shape in which you want it to go. So you can already see your movement starting. Again, as I mold and comb this hair this way, you can see my shape already starting. Okay? You can see the shape is already starting as I mold it and comb it this way. So I have a circular movement already starting up here in the top. Next, establish a point of origin. I'm going to take this piece of hair out just so you'll understand what I mean when I say that. Establish a point from which all of your rollers are going to move. The one problem is you have too many points in a curvature movement, so therefore the hair does not radiate around the point of origin. It just goes all different kind of ways, but you have one point. All right. Next law: the roller always sits 1 diameter away from the point of origin. The point of origin is this point. The next law is the roller always sits 1 diameter away from the point. Okay, that's the other law. All right, 1 diameter away. Then when you go in to scale it, so if the roller sits 1 diameter away, the outside of the roller should be at the back of the circle. That means it comes around here. 1 diameter away, set the roller right on that point, not over the point, on the point, not over the point, on the point right here. Lay the roller down. That tells you how wide the back of that should be. As I come around on the point, coming around all the way down to there. Now, what you see here is this hair in this circle that I'm getting ready to move to make my circle. That's going to be my whole circle. It's not going to be a complete circle. It can be 4 rollers, which is a half of a circle, because 8 rollers make a whole circle, like a slice of pie. It can be 2 rollers, which is a quarter of a circle. It can be 3 rollers, 4 rollers, a half a circle. 5/8 of a circle, whatever the area that you're moving. Most of the time, it's going to be 4 to possibly 5 rollers. Okay, so now, in doing this, I will set the roller at the back part of the circle on the perimeter right here, and I got the same roller controls from before. The basic straight volume roller controls are the same roller controls you will use in the circles, in a circle. Meaning, the first one that we said was an over-directed roller. It has to have at least 1 1 diameter a roller base. So we got 1 base size, another half base size, so it goes straight back to right there. It is an over-directed roller. That means you have to comb the hair at a 45-degree angle past perpendicular, or past the center of its base. Past the center of its base. Bring the roller down. The roller sits at the back part of its base, and it is sitting 1 diameter away from the point of origin. So it's not right on the hairline. Okay? The next roller in our roller designing laws was on base follows over directed. Goes right back to the beginning. You go 1 base size, you go back to the center. See that point right there? That same point. Back to the center, that same point. 1 base size. It goes right here. Now your 1 base size is on base rollers. That means you're combing at what angle? Go right back to the beginning. You comb it at a 90. Nope. You comb it at a 45-degree angle past the center of its base. 45-degree angle past the center of its base. The roller sits right back at the back part of its base. Again, you clip the same laws with the part at the base, same laws as before. The next roller, 1 1/2 under directed. 1 1/2 under directed. All right, now at this point, I'm going to go right in here, right there at the point. 1 1/2 under directed. And here we go. This is an under-directed roller, which means it sits or comb at a 90-degree angle, 1 1/2 base size, 1 1/2 under directed. See, it sits within the confinements of its base. Sits right there in the confinements of its base. And this last one coming around will be a completely off-base roller. I can go, remember, off-base can be 1 base, 2 base sizes. It can be as large as you want it to because it's off-base. And the roller has to be pointed towards the point of origin. So that means, let me try to move so you can see me apply this roller. Move my hands. See here. That's the way the roller has to be applied. So I will go ahead and apply this roller. Then the roller will come and the roller sits just like that. Now that's with 4 rollers. If you feel like this is too much hair in this area right here, apply our second roller, which means this is going to be off base. So let's go with 1 base size, which means to right here. Because some people like to do that. Like I said, you can go either 4 to 5 rollers. It depends on an individual's head and the diameter of a person's head as to how many rollers it's going to take to fill in that space. So here we go for this one. This is the half off again. And the last one will be a completely off base roller, which will be right here. This is the last roller right here, which will be completely off of its base. Let me turn the head around so I can apply it properly. And this roller goes in and the roller sits and points to your point of origin, just like that. This roller should be pointing towards the first roller that was placed. Oops. Towards the first roller that was placed. There is your half circle. You can see this roller coming here, there, 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 there. Over directed, the base comes out first this way. Unbased, it comes up. Under directed, it gets closer. Half off, it gets closer. Off base, it gets the closest. That is a half circle for the roller placement for curvature movement. Has the same laws as straight volume, same laws, same roller controls, it's just in a circular movement. So as you rewind this over and over to go back to it, the key to remember is 1 point of origin. Everything comes from 1 point of origin. Rewind it back, it goes 1 point of origin with the same roller placements. That is curvature movement, which will cause the hair to go in a circle. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to show you all of these placements in our styles coming up. But before we can do any styling, we have to understand the laws of roller designing. So here we go for curvature movement. That is the law. Next, we will move into the wave movement. Okay, next, we will move into wave setting. As you know, waves are very hot. You know, on our dry wave DVD, wave set DVD, we go into a lot of the series of wave movements. But first, we got to have the foundation of the wave. All right, so let's talk about a wave. Matter of fact, let's go into what a wave is. We're going to very quickly just wave just a couple of sections in this top. And so you can see what the wave and understand what waving really is and how to apply the rollers to the wave. All right, as you can see now, I'm just going in there, just waving the mannequin, just waving her up. Doesn't take very long to do a wave. And the problem is, a lot of us have forgotten how to finger wave. All right, first wave, you're going to come back with the second movement right behind it. Second movement right behind it. There it is. Second movement right behind it. Second movement right behind it. Coming around to this side. Coming around here. Ending it right here. And we will do one more wave right behind that so that you can see it. Coming right here to start the last one. Let's get a little bit of moisture in it. Using our, well, what are you waving with, Mr. Tene? I am using a little bit of our Feel Like Silk styling gel along with the Elasta product in the foam. So we got the Elasta foam, and then we have our Feel Like Silk styling gel. All by Elasta QP. I love the line. All right, so now you see here we have a series of wave movements. I'm going to clip this up so that I can talk about this wave movement real quick. So that they will understand the concept of this wave. All right, so let's come back around. Now in the wave, here is what we got to talk about. We start off with two ends. We have an open end and a closed end. This first wave, that's an open end. This is a closed end. That's open. I'm sorry. To start off with, you have an open end here and a closed end there. Open, close. Close is where the C comes up around. The second wave right behind that, you have closed end right here. See, it's closed. You have open end ending here. See, it's open. Okay? And then in the third wave right behind that, you have the closed end there. And open end on the opposite side. So now, a finger wave, you have an open end and a closed end. 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 So this C that's going like this right here, you can't get in this way, so it's closed. This side is open. All right? A law. Whenever you are going to roll a wave, you always start rolling at the closed end for volume. Whenever you're doing a volume wave, you start at the closed end. You work from the closed end to the open end whenever you're rolling for waves. And in this wave, you have one basic force, which the hair is moving like this, or this force is going this way, which is counterclockwise. This one is going clockwise. See the C? This one is going counterclockwise. This is counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. All right. But you have two subdirections in a C. You have the first direction of a C. Let me make a real big wave so I can clarify that and show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to enlarge this wave up for you. Make it really, really large so that you can actually see the subdirections. Because once we get the idea of what the wave is and the subdirection, then we're good to go. All right, I'm going to go in here and make this a real large wave. Okay, as you can see, it's a much larger wave. And then I'm going to make this back one really, really large. So you can see that one as well. Coming right here. because when I largen it up like this and widen it up, it's very easy for you to see what I'm talking about in the wave. A wave, though, when you go to style here, can be as large or as small as you want it to be. Now you got two waves. Now in those two waves, you have what is known as one force but two subdirections, meaning this first part of the wave goes this way, goes here, and then the second part of the wave comes around back in this opposite direction. Right here, you see the first subdirection goes this way, then the second subdirection goes that way. It goes this way, then that way. This one goes this way, then that way. These are known as subdirections. So now, when you're going to roll a wave, you always start at the closed end, which on this particular wave right here, this is a better one for you to really see. That's a closed end. Closed end. And you always part with the first subdirection. This is the first subdirection going right here. This is the second subdirection going that way. First subdirection here, second going that way. So you part straight through with the first subdirection. That will be a diagonal part with the first subdirection. And then we are going to apply it. So now let's start right here with the first direction again. All right, I'm going to scale it out, and once I scale it out, we're going to get started. So here's my first wave coming right here. Comb all the rest of the hair behind it, nice and straight and out of the way. So that I got a nice clean line. All right. So now, my first subdirection, you see how wide the wave is. The wave is wide here, so it's a big roller. The wave down here in this part, it gets smaller, so it's a smaller roller. So I got big, big, big to a small roller. First, base size. Remember the rule of roller design, the base size. Place the roller here. First subdirection is right here. You can see it. See it here, right here? Going first subdirection, go straight through at a diagonal angle without destroying the other hair. Then comb the hair out this way and place your roller in. Let me get a better comb it out. Place the roller in. There, that's better. And clip it again at the closest part to where the part is. And you have your first roller. Now, again, this is the next one I'm getting ready to place in right here. You can see the first direction, see the diagonal. That's a diagonal angle. It's going that way. Base size here. First subdirection. So I'm going to come right here, parting at a diagonal line with the first subdirection straight through. That's the diagonal line. Placing the roller in. Bring the roller down, and that's the way the roller sits. Now I'm starting to get into a little smaller area. Am I still wide enough for a roller? Yes, barely. Again, see the subdirection? Again, let me come over here so you can see the subdirection. The hair starts to spring up because it's a mannequin, but no, it lays like that because you go this way and then that way with the C. This way and then the opposite way. Lay it down right here. Base size, straight through, diagonal part. Apply the roller. Clip it. Again, it's very important. Your direction. And the last one is little one right here. If this hair was laying down, it would be just like that. Goes right here. This is a small roller. Short roller, actually, not small, but just a short roller. Same diameter, short roller, because it is a smaller area. Smaller area. Apply it. And that's the way she would sit. So therefore, when we turn the mannequin back around and stand her up, you see these rollers are at a diagonal line going around. So you can see the wave is right here in the stems. Remember, the key is stem direction. There is your wave right there. Now, there is a closed end and an open end. Closed end and open end. Remember, I said now we're going to do the alternation or the second wave. The second wave, we now have to mold it. Remember, the first wave is going counterclockwise. The second wave is going to go clockwise. This is going this way and then this way in the clockwise. So we got to make the second wave first, form it first. As wide as you want it, small as you want it, it's totally up to you. Comb the hair in the first direction, subdirection. Remember, the first wave is going this way. So this next wave first starts in the way that it ends. It goes here and it ends this way. So this wave goes this way and ends that way. Open and closed. And I will make my direction. As you can see the wave, scale it out, clean it up, and now you can see the second wave right there. You can see it very, very clearly. You can see your first subdirection right here, and you see a second subdirection going that way. First subdirection right here, second going that way. First one right there. So now, this is a smaller part of the wave here, whereas this is wider here. So I'm going to start with the small roller. Place it to get the base size. There it is. You always start at the closed end, coming in here. I parted it off, keeping the rest of the wave intact. I'm going to apply that small roller right here, going in this opposite direction. Here we go. Applying it, coming down, applying it, coming down, coming down, coming down. Place it, clip it, follow your laws for clipping. Always follow your laws for clipping. Then your next one. Looks like we're up into the larger size. See the diameter, okay? The diameter of it here. First direction is right here. Diameter is there. So we got to line our comb up with that first direction and go straight through with that first subdirection. Keeping the rest of the wave intact. Don't mess the wave up. Combing it out. Apply the roller. Next one, very simple now. It's really easy. See your direction now. It's very easy to understand. Base size here, direction there, parts through with the first direction, first subdirection, keeping it at an angle. Try not to mess up the wave that you haven't rolled. Turn her around so you can see it a little bit better. Tilt it over. This is what we're getting ready to roll here. You see my part went with the diagonally with the first subdirection. All you have to do is just keep rewinding it, going right back to wherever you might have gotten lost, and it's right here. Boom, there we go. Put the clip in, coming across. Very, very simple, very easy. Base size, part with the first subdirection straight through. Make sure you got all the hair combed up. Staying in a diagonal line. Rollers are lining up. Coming into a smaller area again, shorter area. See, that's why I say your wave can be as large or as small as you want it. You can go from a big wave to a small wave, go with a real big ocean wave. Waves, just a matter of what you want. And the style that we're going to do a little bit later on, we're going to show, well, it shows in the other series, it shows the wave style in the other series in the dry wave style. And then the last one, which is right here, goes right here. This is our last roller for the wave. And from there, it's just an alternation of going back and forth, back and forth. All right, so see, what you have here is you have the first wave going this way, then the second wave right behind it, which goes back in the opposite way. And then you will just continue on with the third wave, going right back just like this one, and keep going. And that's how you wave set the entire head of hair. That's the wave set. The first wave, then the second wave, and then the alternating wave movements. That is a wave set. Just that simple. You can see the stems right there. That is the wave set for dry waves. Next and last, we will go into feathering. Feathering. That's the last thing we're going to go to before we go into the styles themselves, is the feathering technique in roller designing. All right, the next one that we are going into is feathering. Feathering simply means to get the ends to go in the direction in which you want them to go. Here is the key to feathering. Feathering can be used in all roller placement, whether it be circles, whether it be straight volume, whether it be waves. It can be used in any of your placements. Feathering means if I want all of my hair to feather like this, when I comb it out, to feather and have all my feathers to be going this way, then I must take, keep in mind, I must take my rollers when I place them, and the ends of the hair, when I place it, start at the opposite end and take the hair in the direction in which I want my feathers to go. You see that ends are going this way, so I would roll it that way so that when the hair unfolds, it feathers that way. Again, just imagine this being a shorter head of hair or in long layers, and I want it to feather that way. When I go to place my roller to placement, whatever placement I am using, when I put the roller in, I start the hair over here in this end and take the hair in the opposite direction in which I want the feathers to go. So there's where it starts, and as you can see, there is my end. So when you unfold it, there it goes. So it makes the hair feather, automatically feather in that direction. So we start it, opposite side, place it, opposite side, roll it, see the end? Now that's something that is really been very successful in creating feathered looks. Again, opposite, place it, and there it is going the opposite direction. Okay? Placed it, so it feathers that way. The last thing is, instead of rolling straight squares, roll pie shapes in the direction in which I want my feather to go. What does that mean? I'm going to show you. This is straight blocked. I want one base size, so right here. Go from a point here, make the base wider there, so I have a triangular base. See it? Pie shaped base. I want my hair to feather towards the point. The point is up here. So I come in, starting at that end, taking it this way, and that's the way the roller sits. The next roller, I want to go the opposite way, or to feather this way. I just come in here, point up here, go here. When I put the roller in, if I want it to feather that way, I then place the roller that way, even though it's in a straight line, and then my rollers will look like they're sitting like that. The next one, if I want to feather back that way, point here, triangular base, and it feathers from this point here, right there, over to that way, to that end, and my roller sits like that. So therefore, it makes the rollers appear as if they are staggering, or if they're going, one is going this way, that way, or one is going that way, this way, and then that way, or I can have them all going the same way by simply changing my points. And that's what is happening right here. That is feathering. Again, feathering is simply taking the end in the direction in which you want the hair to go. All right, so now you have just been introduced to all of the designs and the laws for rollers. Again, let me go through feathering very quickly. If this is a square or a base, if I'm doing block setting or any type of setting, and I want my ends to feather a certain way, I can either go a block set, which means straight across, and make a feather, or I can go with a diameter there, which means, see how it's slanted? My roller will be slanted that way. Take it to the opposite end and take the feather towards the point in which you want it to go. So it's placed. The next one, if I want it to go the same way, take the ends towards the point in which way you want it to go. Again, it feathers that same way. See the end? If I still want to all feather like that, take the ends in the point, in the direction in which you want it to go. And you can feather it either direction, all this way, all that way. Same point, ends going in that direction. So when I comb this out or take it out and style it, all of my ends feathers the same way. They feather the same way. And that is feathering. So to show you when it unfolds, you take it out. The hair is already starting to go that way by the way the point is up here and wider down here, and the point's narrow up there. And then when it unfolds, look what my end's just doing. There it is right there, going in the direction in which I want it to unfold. That direction right there. And that gives it all of the feathering right there. I unfold this, watch the end, there it goes. You see which way the end wants to go? Just like that. That's the way it all feathers when you're doing feathering. And that's all feathering is. And feathering can be applied to any roller anytime you want direction. All right, so that is the laws of roller designing. Now we're going to go into two very beautiful looks, applying the laws and go into the nice today's styles, which I'm sure you will love. And that's what you will see next. All right, so now we're about to move into one of our popular looks and sets, and this is called the Butterfly Voluminous Set. Now, it will have a series of the shapes that you just learned about. You remember the half circle? That's what we will do in the top area. That will be the circle. On the two side corners, we will do an indentation roller, followed by a curvature movement in the back and bricklaying in the top. It's a very, very hot look. It's a look that you see a lot of the entertainers and the stars wearing, and it's a very, very hot look. So the first thing we're going to do is to do our circle. Remember, when you do a circle, your rollers sit one diameter back, so you just scale it out accordingly, and that's what we're going to do here in the top. Scaled it out accordingly. So that's going to be our circle area. So now we're going to do the application to our circles. Remember the first roll of that circle, go right back, rewind the tape, flashback, is you got an over-directed roller. So that's what it's going right here. It's over-directed roller. First roller in there. Sits one diameter away from its point. Coming right behind, next to that, with unbased roller. One base, unbased, same point of origin, just like the circle we just taught. And again, I can't emphasize the importance of, if you're unsure, just rewind, go back to that particular pattern, know where it's at on the taping, on the DVD, and then you move forward. That's why you always have a reference. Third roller, we come around, come back to the same point again, same point, is a 1.5 under-directed roller. Remember the under-directed roller, again, you hold at 90 because it's a 1.5 base size. Roller sits 1 diameter away. Under-directed roller. And then your 4th roller that you're going to set up, that we're going to put in here. Some of this here out of the way. Let me redo that. 4th roller is going to be, that was under-directed right there. 4th roller is going to be half off base. 1 base, half off base. So we want it to be half on, half off. Come back to the point. Oops. Back to the point again. And this is going to be a half off base roller. Coming around. Half on, half off. And then the last roller will be totally off base. Totally off base. Coming around. And here we go for this last one, which will be totally off base. And remember, in the roller, that last roller should sit pointing towards that first roller. Same thing that we just learned. Same thing that happens here. And that's the last one, which is off base. That is our circular movement in the front. On the side, right here, the small area on the side, we're going to go with an indentation roller movement right here. Remember, indentation stays flat. Indentation movement. Seeing how this one ends in that movement, that indentation will go right behind it, keeping it flat. Indentation right here. It's a very, very, very smooth look, that is the transition will take you into the next movement behind it. Okay, now right behind that roller right there, that's the indentation movement. That's your circle, indentation. Coming right behind the indentation. Oops. Pushed that one through, didn't we? Coming right behind this indentation. There we go. And come right behind the indentation movement with another curvature movement starting here, and it curves on around to the bottom. Starts here, curving on around to the bottom. Starts right there at the point of the indentation. Here's the way it's going to come. That means this here will go this way. This flares in, and it goes into that look that comes right back around that way. So that's this movement right here. This is another curvature movement. Another curvature movement right here. Starts here. One. Starts here with 2, same point. Coming around. Right here. And then you end it with the last roller, which is right down here, which can be a large one or it can be a small. When I say large, you can continue on with this size. If you want it to be real loose, you go in with a larger roller. If you want it to be the same, continue with this one, and it comes on around right here. And now you see the movement going from here, coming around towards the front, coming around in the front here, half circle movement coming around. Actually, this is 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming around. Then it goes into this indentation roller and comes back around this way. That's why you see where it really hugs the face. Okay, as you can see, we just finished that side up. So now we're ready to move to the opposite side, and we're going to do pretty much the same identical thing. We're going to start here in this area, region right here with an indentation roller. So we're going to start right here, combing this hair straight back so we can get that indentation roller in here that's going to cause the flare. Part it off, keep the hair nice and smooth. Go in, apply the roller, roll it down without lifting. Remember, you don't lift that indentation roller. Keep it nice and smooth. Next thing is apply the clip. Let's secure it at the bottom with another one, second one. And that does it for our indentation roller right here. All right. Now we'll come right behind the indentation roller with our curvature movement. Remember our curvature movement. It starts here on the side. Starting here on the side, if we were to scale it out, come in, scale it out, coming around, just like we did on the opposite side, which brings that hair in and then back around. Starting here with one point right there. There's a point right behind the roller. See, the comb comes out right here. That's your point. So we're now going to apply it. Now remember, you can always rewind and go back to where we left off so you will know exactly where we are and exactly how we're applying it. There's no difference in this circle than the one on the top. It's just in a different place of the head. Being in a different area of the head, it looks a little differently, but it is the identical same movement. Exact same movement. There's that one. Coming around to the next one, there's your point again. Bring it on around. Go back to that point. There we are. Going back to that point right here. You can see the point right here. We're going to start it coming on around again. Same identical movement. Same identical law. Same technique. Coming around. As you can see, it starts the movement already. We will get a clip over here. Apply it up under there. We will get a second clip from the back. We're going to bring this on over here so we can apply it to the back area. And then we're going to move to do the final couple of pieces in the movement. All right, we got one more roller we got to place right here. Let's see if we can tilt you a little bit so you can see it. And we're going to come around, coming around, last roller here, comes around right here, starting your movement, coming back around, and at the very bottom, remember, you can put in a large roller or a small roller. That will make the hair really unfold and come right back around the way that you really want it, which is what's known as fill-in roller. Oops. Known as a fill-in roller, whichever way you want it to go. Sometimes I like to use that long clip because I can grab a roller that almost is hard to grab with the regular roller. So now we've got curvature movement in the top. We've got indentation roller, curvature movement on the side, and in the center is going to be my fill-in rollers. Right back here is going to be my fill-in rollers. And I'm going to go in and do a little bit of feathering with the fill-in rollers. Let me tilt her back just a little bit so you can see the top. Okay. Going to come in the top. Point of origin is up here. See, it's a triangular base. See, it's wider back here, narrower in the front. And where it's narrow is where I want that end to go. Remember I told you about the feathering portion. This is to feather the ends. I start there, feather the ends this way. So that my ends feather that way. I'm going to alternate the feathering on it. Wide on this end, narrow on the opposite end over here. So that it feathers that way. Alternation in my feathering. You can do that all one way. You can choose to go opposite ways. All in your creative design, in your mind. It's all in your artistic abilities. My next one, I want to go the opposite way. So I go narrow here, wide down there. And it makes the rollers look like they're going like this here, coming down. But it's all for the purpose of the feathering. Feather the end to the opposite way. Put the roller in. And the last few is just fill-ins. Got a roller here. And the one at the very bottom, roller here. Now when I get to the very bottom, remember your rollers can be as large or as small as you want them, the diameter, if you want it real tight. But today they're wearing stuff that is extremely loose in the nape area. And so that's what we are doing now. And as you can see, making sure all of my ends are tight. And as you can see, that is our completed set. We will start here, starting at the top. You can see your circular movement in the very, very top. You can see your indentation roller right here, which goes into another curvature design back here in the back. Same identical thing on the opposite side. Indentation roller on the side with your curvature movement right behind it, moving downward, with your fill-in rollers right in the center. So now, you want to know, how many rollers? This is not a head full of rollers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Less than 20 rollers for the entire head. And that's how you get your design and your movement. So now, we will let her dry, we'll bring her back, and we'll comb her out. All right, so now we are back with the finished dried look. So as you can see, we took our rollers out. You can see the circle in the top, the indentation on the side. Remember the movement that went around to the back. As you see, movement on both sides that goes to the back. And we're now ready to go in and to do our comb out. Now, this look here, very easy. Look, you just come in here, brush it out, comb it out. And it's not a look that is extremely polished, because that's not the look that we go after nowadays. We go after a look that is still nice, but yet it still has a nice wind-blown, or what they call beach wind-blown look. They just want to see the movement, they want to see it full, but it's not like it used to be when stuff was extremely polished. See, the circle is trying to form in the top here. Tries to come back around. See how easy that falls into place? Falls right into place for us. The look here comes around. Remember down here, the indentation roller is right here, pushes the hair away. This comes back around, hugs her neck, comes around and hugs her neck. We come over here on this side, we get somewhat of that same feel, where it comes back around, hugs on that side. You see, it's a very beautiful, beautiful look that gives us a very, very nice feel, fashionable, a current look that you see a lot of the entertainers and stars wearing today. As you see, it comes up around, it comes back around, and it's nice, hugs the eye, to give it that very, very sex appeal, sexy look. This here stretches, comes back around the neck area, stretches out, does what you want it to do there. And there she is. You see how easy it was to comb her out? There she is. Indentation look, pushes hair away, comes back around. Very beautiful, beautiful look. And we call this our butterfly voluminous set. This is what you see a lot of the stars. That's what you see Tar. That's what you see a lot of them wearing. That real nice, beautiful, volumized look that is not really, really polished nor perfected to the point that everything is smooth. They like that windblown feel about the look. And there she is, the finished look. All right. Now for a little bit of a bonus. Here we have here a basic bob style, whereas you use your irons to come and bob all of this down, and it is what is known as a diagonal forward bob, but it still has rollers in the top for fullness. Now remember, I told you all about way back about applying rollers for feathering, block sets. This here is a concept that we use for applying this to do this, but to also apply to get feathering, which simply means, remember that no matter which way I got this roller in, as I unwind it, you see the ends in the roller is going in the direction in which I want my feather to go. So what did I do? I came in here, I took this roller, applied it here, and took the ends and feathered it back that way, and then rolled it down. Just that simple, to make my ends feather in the direction in which I want them to go. Same thing here, took the rollers down. Watch when I unwind the roller, it's the block set roller, but look at the ends. The ends are again going in the direction in which we want them to flow. That's a key to feathering when you're set. Take your ends in that direction that you want them to go. So therefore it flows in that direction. That's just a bonus tip. So what we're going to do, and that's just a basic bob with rollers in it, we're going to take our rollers out, and then we normally go over some of the stems to soften them so that they can have a nice transition from the rollers to the straight hair. As you can see, we're taking it down now. Rollers are very loose, it's falling into place. Some women like it very tight, some women like it a little looser. Again, taking the rollers out, the ends, watch the ends, the ends falling in the direction in which they want to go, back into that direction right there. Taking them out, the ends, you see the ends are going in the direction in which you want them to go. There it is right there. See, goes right back in that opposite direction. Okay, that's very important. Just a little tiny trick to help you in your feathering techniques. Now, for the transition, we may take a couple of rollers here, soften them up, see where it's at. But before we do that, let's go in here and take this here and style it out and see where we are with it. This has already been beveled around the sides, flat iron, all the way through the sides. Going in through the rest of it now to do our transition. And then we'll come back and we'll loosen them up. Because a lot of times they like that fullness in the top, in the sides. get to the transition just a moment so we can see where our rollers are falling, because you want to see where your rollers are falling and what kind of transition you have going on the specific hair itself before you even go in there and work any of your iron work out of your rollers. Again, make your ends go in the direction in which you want them to go. Going around to the front here. Get our front to flow. They know they like that long type of bang in their eyes. So I used a real large roller here, real purple gray roller right there. So I can see my transition, see how my ends want to flow in the direction in which they're trying to go. Also, when you're styling this kind of hair, keep in mind that you are working on mannequins. You know, mannequins' hair is a little bit coarser, sometimes stiffer than normal. And sometimes you have to really work it to get it to go in the direction in which you want it to go. Now, as for the transition, you see you're getting some volume in there from your rollers, because a lot of them do like the volumized look. They like some volume in the top. They don't want it to just be flat. They want some volume in the top. So in order to achieve the volume that they want in the top, we simply will come in here, take our irons for the transition, smooth it into what we have there. Just to transition it in, because you see where your rollers come out right here. So you have to take where your rollers come out right there. You see the ends are going in the direction in which I want to go. Transition that piece of hair into, leaving the rest of the base smooth and tight. Transition it into what you have going down there at the bottom. To bring the air to, for example, right here, you see this roller right here? Transition this roller right here into the piece going into the bottom of the hair. You see, by transitioning, what you do is you catch it up so that it's smoother transition going into the back or the bottom hair. Because the hair is normally tight coming out of the roller at first. So you transition it. You see your ends are going basically in the direction you want them to go, because you set them to go that way. Transition it in. Then you take a look at it. We say, okay, yeah, I like that. A little bit of holding spray. Just for that piece there. A little bit of holding spray. Transition the front part. A little bit of holding spray. Then it comes around. As you can see what that transition is. Work on the opposite side for just a moment to transition it down. And that will about give you the look in which you are trying to get, which you're coming from the bob area, going down into your nice look. Which gives her the look of almost a complete iron feel with your rollers in the crown for your volume, for your transition. Bob down, very loose front. And it gives them a lot more support than if it was just iron work. Taking it right into the feathered bob. So now that brings to a close of this particular educational section of your roller foundation and the laws of the roller sets.